Well, I'm Matt Oyer. I'm the Chief Learning Officer for NASPO, and I get the pleasure of introducing our next speaker. But I did want to talk a little bit about our professional development team and our department just for a minute to let you know about some of the resources that we have that are available to you. So in my role, I oversee our research and innovation team who create publications, resources, surveys, all of those things for our members. And we have a large amount of data on what other states do, practice-wise, policy-wise, statute, all of those things that we maintain. So our research team is certainly a resource to all of you. If you're looking for examples from other states, if you're looking to see what other states' laws look like, all of those things, you can reach out to us. And I have several of my staff from the research team here. Becca, raise your hand. Rebecca Montano-Smith, my deputy for research and innovation, would love to talk to you about the research side and all the things we have. In addition to the research team, Megan Smith, who you all know, Megan and the legal education team is part of our department as well. So Megan and all the resources she provides to this group and the Law Institute itself, she focuses on that. And then we also have Procurement U. How many of you have heard of Procurement U? Anybody? Okay, we got a few people. All right, and so Jordan is going to speak about Procurement U in just a minute. But Procurement U is NASPO's education arm. We have been around for about 10 years, and so we focus on all different procurement topics and courses and self-paced courses, instructor-led, all of those things that Jordan will talk about. We are a resource for you as well. We are growing in terms of the legal focused topics and things that we have through Procurement U and the legal education department, and Jordan's going to point to the ones that are there. But what I would also say is, please think of us as a resource. We are here to help, whether it's research, whether it's education. If you have ideas for conference sessions in the future, if you have resources you need, please reach out to us. That's what we're here for. So now I will introduce our next speaker. I've known Jordan for about a decade, so I was thinking, what can I tell about Jordan that would be embarrassing? I tried to think of something, but the guy is too nice and too squeaky clean to come up with anything, right, to tell you about. So I will just introduce Jordan Henson, my deputy for Procurement U. Jordan.
Thank you, Matt. So what you mean is there's nothing embarrassing that you can tell in front of this audience that you can share. Good afternoon, everyone. Like Matt said, I'm Jordan Henson. I'm the Deputy Chief Learning Officer for Procurement U. We have been working together too long because often we get confused for each other, which I still don't understand because there's a few, physical characteristics that are quite different. Anyway, like Matt said, he literally stole the first 4 or 5 slides of my presentation. I am going to be talking to you about Procurement U. I was going to ask how many of you were already familiar with Procurement U, and many of your hands went up. I know we have a lot of chief procurement officers in the room, so I was expecting at least 26 hands from that, and I saw more, so that's exciting. For those of you that are already familiar with Procurement U, some of this will be a little bit of a repeat for you, but I am going to talk about some new things, some things that are specific resources for our attorneys, and then also some changes and some things that are changing later this year and some exciting updates. But like Matt said, Procurement U, what is it? Why do I care? What does it mean for me? And we are the education and training arm of NASPO. We have our own mission statement and all of that, but we are a fun and engaging team, and our focus is to provide education and training to the procurement profession. Really, our underlying goal is just to help you grow as a procurement professional, or for our attorneys in the room, someone who supports or works alongside procurement professionals. That's kind of the bottom line. How many of you feel like you're in this type of situation? Or maybe more targeted question would be, what is it you do as an attorney that supports procurement? Right? Sometimes you feel this at your core. That's a big part of what Procurement U is here for and what we try to do, especially for the procurement professionals and all the trainings and courses and resources that I'm going to touch on. Our hope is to be able to train procurement professionals to better support and do their roles more efficiently and feel more prepared. But there are a lot of things that we provide that you may find valuable in your roles as well. So, like Matt mentioned, here are a few of the key highlights of things that Procurement U does, and we're going to talk about some of them a bit more specifically as well. So we do have a whole catalog of self-paced courses. We'll talk about what all is included in that and who it's available for, how you access all of this in a little bit. Over the last few years, we started doing more instructor-led trainings and programs, especially virtually. And we are now up to the point where we do anywhere between 24 to 30 different instructor-led classes virtually throughout the year, available to members at no charge on a variety of different topics, and we'll talk about that. And then we also support the UPPCC certifications and the concept of procurement certification in general. And we have several specific resources there as well. So the slides are in the app, so there's good summaries there of these three kind of highlights. But let's talk about some of the specifics really quickly. So one of the big main areas of Procurement U is our catalog of online courses that you can access in the Procurement U Learning Management System, or the LMS. We have over 140 hours of public procurement specific training that is fully on demand. You can take it at your own pace. It's accessible in our platform. Like I said, procurement focused, geared towards the public sector, on basically any topic you could imagine. Everything from market research to our most popular course, which is Procurement 101, Foundations of Public Procurement, ethics, negotiations, you name it. We also have another side of our catalog, which is a skill-focused section that has a variety of different courses that are focused on just everyday skills that are applicable to anyone in business, regardless of their position. These are things like data analytics, project management, leadership, and more. So the skill-focused catalog of courses are paid courses within our catalog, but NASPO is subsidizing a lot of the costs associated with these, so they're going to be more affordable through us than if they were taken from other sources. There's a lot of different options there, and I won't have time to get into them, but I do want to shout out Sherry Neese, if she's still in the room. I think at last year's Law Institute, you started hearing a lot more about Agile methodology, and Sherry we have a whole series of Agile project management courses in this skill-focused catalog. And she took those courses, loved them, and then turned around and made some changes in her office, and my understanding is that went really, really well, and she's a big proponent of those courses. So just something that I remember from last year's Law Institute as well. So we have a variety of topics, courses, resources available through all of that. As I mentioned, we also are doing instructor-led trainings, typically virtually, though we do some workshops and things at NASPO in-person conferences as well. These trainings and topics, we're adding new ones all the time. They're on a variety of different things. How many of you have taken some of our instructor-led classes before? All right, less hands, but these are a lot of fun. My opinion is, having a variety of options when it comes to learning is really important. There's a lot of topics and resources and things that you can provide via sort of self-paced e-learning content, and that can be very useful. But a lot of things also need to be covered by an instructor, and some people learn better in different ways. So we are adding more and more instructor-led trainings all the time. And we have started getting into a rhythm of rolling these out by quarter. So we actually, I think we just filled up all the classes that we had open for Q4 of this year, and we are about to release all the instructor-led courses that we will have open for registration in Q1 for next year. So we cover everything from improving the RFPs that are being written to just basic government customer service. We have an introduction to construction procurement course that's led by an expert instructor. We cover topics like recruitment and retention, market research, evaluation teams, and basics of how to do evaluation scoring matrices, and all of those kind of things, and then more. Like I said, a lot more topics coming as well. As I started to mention, but then I don't think I finished my thought, our courses are easy to use, easy to access. You can just log into our learning management system portal and take any of these courses that you're interested in. You can enroll. and access all these. It will keep a learning history and a transcript of everything you have completed. You get certificates of completion that you can download, all of that. You can take them at your own pace. They do not typically expire, relevant to procurement professionals and, in your all's case, stakeholders at generally all experience levels. And I just wanted to say, I thought the session right before this, not the ice cream session, which I know is going to be your favorite session of the conference, the one right before that with the panel, you all did an amazing job, and towards the beginning of it, I was like, wow, this is a great segue to my presentation. It's going to look like we did it on purpose, which was where they talked about understanding the lingo and being able to build rapport with the people that you work with, and then you really emphasize the importance of training and thinking about certification. And so I thought that was a great segue into Procurement U, which is a mechanism for you to help achieve all of those types of things. Which brings me to what's in it for me, right? For our non-procurement professionals in the room, for our lawyers, you may be thinking, okay, this is great. I can share this with our procurement team. What's in it for me? We do have several resources that are already, I would say, kind of geared towards the legal audience. And like Matt mentioned, we are exploring adding more things, and when we're always open to feedback and ideas and things that we can do to improve, or additional resources, additional topics that you might find valuable. So a few that I wanted to touch on specifically. So we have in the last, half of this year, partnered with a nonprofit organization called Innovate US, and they are an organization that focuses on, they're a nonprofit, and they focus on training and resources and things that are free and focused on innovation, and especially IT-related topics, AI in particular, and other kind of innovation-focused areas. And they've been doing a lot, and we have partnered with them to bring several of their courses into our learning management system. But one of the newest ones is a two-part series that we just launched within the last couple months, but it's called Responsible AI for Public Sector Legal Professionals. So it is specifically geared for you all in the public sector space. It is, like I said, two parts. The first course is using generative AI, everyday tools and best practices. So it does start with a little bit of a basic intro into what is AI and then how can it be used in everyday scenarios. It talks about different tools and things that are available. It doesn't focus on one specific tool like a ChatGPT or a Google Gemini, but tries to do a variety of different examples and resources and things. And then part two is designing AI policy projects and societal impact. So yesterday during the boot camp presentation, whatever you call it, workshop, boot camp, during the roundtable session, I was at the AI table. And we did a few different rounds, and new folks would come to the table, and we would talk. And aside from really getting depressed as we talked quite a bit about AI, the main thing that I realized is that I think collectively there's still a lot of questions and not very many answers when it comes to AI. So while this will certainly not solve all of your problems when it comes to figuring out what to do with AI in a legal context within your offices, hopefully you can find this valuable as a starting point. This is free, available to any of you that's interested. And it's available within our platform. You don't have to pay or anything, which is great. Trying to think if there was anything else on that topic that I wanted to mention. So some other topics and things that are specifically related to you, and then some others that are in more related to the session that was before this in terms of getting to know the procurement profession as a whole. So we do have several resources that are more legal focused. So we have, in addition to the course that I was just talking about, we have a recording of a session or a webinar that we did, I want to say last year, that is called AI and Legal Implications for Public Procurement. And it's a video recording with an assessment at the end. It's a really amazing session. And it's a really popular one with a lot of really positive feedback, but it's kind of geared towards the legal aspects and the legal audience. We also have several micro-learnings that are kind of more geared towards things that might be really useful either for you or for people that you work with. So we do have a micro-learning. It's about a 15, 30-minute little course on preparing for a deposition. So it's kind of geared for the procurement professional to help get them to understand what a deposition is and when they might see that happening and how to, basic steps and things they can do to prepare. So if you are ever in a situation where you are having to work with one of your procurement offices or officers or someone within the office to get them prepared for a deposition, this might be a good sort of primer or sort of course or something to get them thinking in the right space to kind of kick that off, and then you're going to want to have additional conversations with them about all the specifics. We also have a micro-learning on managing open records requests. So I don't know if any of you have any procurement folks or offices and agencies that you wish they understood open records a little bit better and how to handle that and the basic steps and when to bring in legal and all those kind of things. So we do have a micro-learning on that topic. Again, it's not going to be specific to everything within your state or walk them through every single process, but it will go over what open records requests typically are, some examples from different states, how a general baseline of what they should do when one is received, just basic best practices like that. We also have one on navigating trade agreements and then recognizing collusion in public procurement. I wanted to call that one out specifically as well because it is based on a podcast and a blog that we did a few years ago with the Procurement Collusion Strike Force, which I'm still not sure exists. It sounds like it's not a real thing. And spoiler alert if you haven't heard this, but the featured speaker that we're supposed to have coming up next from the Department of Justice and this imaginary collusion strike force, because of the shutdown, he's not able to be here. So that means I've got another hour and a half to talk about Procurement U. Oh no, I'm seeing a lot of panic faces over there. So just kidding. We'll get you out of here a little early. Megan's going to give a bit more of an update on that. But all that aside, the reason I bring it up, the Recognizing Collusion in Public Procurement micro-learning that we have is based off of a lot of the content that they have presented for us in the past. And I was really looking forward to that session because it's a lot of fun to just hear them talk about these horror stories and scenarios and things and these collusion examples and what people think they can get away with. But that little mini course does essentially the same thing, and it walks through a lot of the red flags that procurement professionals specifically, but really anyone needs to look for in the procurement process to help spot and recognize the possibility of collusion. And then, of course, it recommends that they immediately contact you if they see any of these red flags. So again, those are out there, they're available. But in addition, kind of following up on that session from before, beyond some of these legal and attorney-related topics that we have, if you just want to know more about the profession, if you are really new as an attorney that supports the procurement office, you want to know more about the lingo and the terminology and what everything means, right? You can take all or any of the courses in our catalog to kind of get more of that baseline understanding of what the procurement process is like, how it typically works as a general rule of thumb across the nation, and start to understand more of that lingo and the basic terminology, because it is very different, and you can see how NASPO defines certain things. Raise your hand if SOW means scope of work in your mind. Okay, now raise your hand if it means statement of work in your mind. Okay, perfect example. We have an introduction to scope of work course, and we lay out a definition of what they should mean or typically mean, but every jurisdiction sometimes uses them interchangeably. So good example. Even if you just want a refresher, all of that. I would love to stand up here and tell you that all of these courses you can get CLEs for, but as Megan has mentioned and as you all know, those are often very complicated and very different across every state and typically are not very friendly when it comes to self-paced. Usually there needs to be some kind of live and component to it. But if there isn't, or your rules are more flexible, or if you just want training contact hours, we do provide certificates for all these things. We have a variety of introduction topics. I just listed out a handful of them. So introduction to, and then you can see negotiations, terms and conditions, service contracts, scopes of work, specification development. Really anything in our catalog is going to help give you a better understanding of what the procurement profession deals with, what a procurement officer and a procurement professional goes through on their day-to-day, what they're doing, what that process typically looks like, with a variety of examples. If you really are brand new and you want to know a whole lot more about the profession and how procurement works, we do have a recommended sort of onboarding list. It's built with a brand new procurement professional in mind. So if they're starting day one, which of our courses should they take in what time frame? So in your first 6 months, take these courses in this order, that type of thing. Feel free to take scan the code there if you want to be able to share that, or if you're just kind of personally interested in which courses should I think about taking, or would you recommend in what order. It doesn't include every course in our catalog. Like I said, it's really geared towards, in a procurement professional's first year, what are our general recommendations. And again, like they talked about in the previous session as well, certification is really big for our procurement professionals, and it's extremely important, but it may also be something that can really be meaningful for you all as well. I know some of you have your CPPB and your O, or are thinking about getting it. And so NASPO is a big supporter of the UPPCC certifications. There's a lot of letters up on the screen, so if you're not familiar, UPPCC is the Universal Public Procurement Certification Council, and then they have the CPPB, Certified Professional Public Buyer Certification, and the CPPO, Certified Public Procurement Officer Certification. How many of you have one of these? All right, a handful of hands. Good. We do have several resources, so if you or anyone that you know within your office is interested or is thinking about it, there's a lot that you can do through NASPO, so make sure you think about some of these next couple of resources that I'm going to share. So for starters, we have study tools that are available through our learning management platform. They're for free. They walk you through what to expect on the exams, practice questions, all of that. But more importantly is our reimbursement program. So for the last few years, NASPO has been reimbursing any qualified applicant that passes the certification for their full application and exam fees. So you have to be eligible and qualified and take the exam, and then when you pass, you can submit. You could submit to get reimbursed, and NASPO would reimburse that. One quick note on this. This program is still going to continue, but starting next year with the 2026 exams, reimbursement is going to require either a PPA or a NASPO membership in order to access that reimbursement program. And we'll talk a little bit more about PPA and how to take advantage of all of this as well. This is another one of those slides that Matt stole, so just go to the NASPO website, look up all the resources that our research and innovation team, legal education, all of that's available. I want to make sure I hit on a couple more things. This is a free webinar that's going to be happening February 19th at 3 p.m. I know that feels like it's really far away, but go ahead and block this out. I know I talked to several of you about this at the AI table during boot camp, but Massachusetts has an AI tool that they appropriately call 1L, which is a large language model that they've been testing that is built, I think, in cooperation with OpenAI, but don't quote me on that, that examines vendor contract terms before they reach their legal teams. And in the pilot that they've been running, 1L caught 93% of problematic terms that were then later confirmed by their legal counsel. So it's doing the process that a lot of their law students were doing for them initially. And so this is a pretty impressive program. They won the Gold Cronin Award at NASPO's annual conference a couple months ago, and they're going to be doing a webinar going into a bit more detail on it, and I'm imagining it's going to be a pretty popular webinar. So if you scan the code, you can sign up if you're interested. They have another AI tool that's not necessarily legal specific, but anyway. So I only have a little bit of time left. Where and how do I sign up, and what does all this mean? So for now, if you just want to explore, see what's in the catalog, go to naspo.org. Click on the Procurement U logo, and you can start looking around, or you can type in /ProcurementU. before the end of this year, and this is why I know some of you are already familiar, but there are changes coming. Before the end of this year, you can go to our learning management system, click sign up, fill out the information, and get into the LMS. But what I would strongly recommend you do instead is to start thinking about that we do have some changes coming, and so that are connected to the exciting announcement that Justin made earlier in the day around PPA, the Procurement Professionals Alliance. So we are collaborating very closely with PPA and looking to expand the reach of Procurement U, which has been largely available to NASPO members and then also been made available to the wider public procurement audience. We are now going to partner with PPA to make that even more available through PPA's audience as it grows. But there are a couple logistics changes that means. Just to clarify, so Procurement U is going to remain a part of NASPO. We are still a division and program within NASPO, but we are becoming PPA's preferred education provider. And there's a bunch of things that means that I don't have time to get into. In terms of what's changing specifically and what this might mean for you, if you are already using Procurement U, or if something I said sparked your interest and you're thinking about signing up, here's what it means. Starting at the first of the year, January 1st, full access to Procurement U, the entire course catalog, all the things I mentioned, the self-paced courses, all of that is going to be a member benefit for NASPO members and for PPA members. So you're going to need to be a member of one of the two organizations to be able to take advantage of our catalog. If you are an attorney that supports your procurement office and you are embedded within the central procurement office, then most likely that means you are a NASPO member. And NASPO members by default also get PPA membership included automatically. So there shouldn't be anything that you have to do as long as NASPO is aware that you're a member, which generally, if you're here, we should be aware, then there shouldn't be anything you have to do to continue to have access. If you are not embedded within the central procurement office, or if you're unsure, or if you have questions after all this, go talk to Maya out front at the registration desk. But more than likely, you are going to need to sign up and join PPA in order to access our courses and trainings and the things that I was discussing. Is there a cost to join PPA? Not if you join early, and that's why I said, yes, you can get into our LMS right now and start looking around, but really what you should do is just sign up for PPA. If you're a NASPO member, all you got to do is activate your account. If you're not, you can go to PPA's website right there, explore the benefits and what all that means, and sign up. And if you do that now, before the end of the year, you get 2 full years of PPA membership for free. And so, like Justin mentioned, PPA is brand new. It's just getting started. They have several different benefits. One of the preferred benefits is Procurement U and all of our training and education. So that's included. But over the next 2 years, they're going to be adding so much more and all kinds of additional benefits. You'll get access to a huge and wider network of attorneys and procurement professionals from cities, counties, local governments, well beyond state. So there's a ton of benefits there that I don't really have time to get into, but I would just encourage you to go and explore PPA, especially if any of the courses and trainings I mentioned is something that interests you. Trying to make sure I didn't forget anything. I don't think so. So I put up a confusing slide with 3 different emails. You can email any one of these. They'll all end up at the same, we'll get you to the right place one way or another. But if you have questions about PPA specifically, you start trying to sign up and you have trouble, you're not sure if you're a member, any of that, you can email info@joinppa.org. If you have questions about Procurement U, you want to learn more about what we offer, what it means for you, you can email procurementu@naspo.org. Or you're welcome to email me directly as well if you've got feedback, ideas for topics, things like that. So again, you're welcome to email any one of those. I think that was the highlight. I know that was a lot. I know the PPA changes is a lot, and there's a lot more to that. So I'll be around, happy to answer any questions that you might have. And yeah, I guess I'll forfeit the remaining hour and invite Megan Smith back up to the stage.